Hi y'all, this is Kathy with Design by Kathy. Thanks for tuning in today. Today we're going to do a project with resin and paint, mixed media. This will be a great project for any of you Cricut and silhouette lovers out there to give this a try. This is what we're going to go for. This is I call this my Texas Roots. We're going to do a beachy project and see what kind of beach embellishments we can put on it. But this is what we're going to go for. This is going to need to be a two-part series using resin, but let's get started. I'm going to be using this art resin. It's a two-part epoxy. We have our resin and our hardener. This is mixed in a 1-to-1 ratio. So I filled 1 cup with the hardener, 1 cup with the resin, and now I've poured them in this cup. I've stirred it for about 2 minutes, and I'm letting it sit for about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, depending on what the instructions say on the particular resin that you use. Art resin is made for projects like this, which is why I like using it. It's made for this type of a project. A lot of resins are made more specifically for doming, and we'll go into the different types of resin later on another video. But this is what we're using today is art resin. So I've got this. We're gonna let that continue to sit. The reason it sits after we stir it is because we want all the bubbles, as many as possible, to float to the surface so that we can get rid of the bubbles before we start to do our project. I'm gonna have some paper towels on hand. I also like to have baby wipes. If you're doing anything with resin, baby wipes is a really good thing to have on hand because you can immediately wipe resin off with it. So it's a really handy thing to have on hand. I'm going to use this bright blue, a little bit of bright blue, my surf blue, and then I'm going to mix this chocolate and a little white because I want a sand color. I want kind of a beachy sand color. Well, okay, for some beaches, clearly, some have snow white sand, but we're gonna go with this color sand. Let me scoot that out of the way a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and start with mixing my tan color, my sand color first and see what we get. And we're gonna get the colors in the cups ready. And then we're gonna add the resin to them. So this is, see what we can get here as far as a tan, and just, start off with adding a little bit maybe, unless it squirts out like that, and then stir, see what kind of color you get, if you like the color. Most of mine went to the side, not a good thing, but it's okay. And it's pretty dark. I don't really want sand quite that dark, so I'm gonna add a little more white. Just keep adding to it until you get the color that you are happy with. And it doesn't have to be a certain color. We're not using computer colors. We're using what you like and what works for you. Okay, that's a pretty good sand, I think. We want it to show up. I don't want it so light that it doesn't show up well on my canvas. So set that one aside. Now we're gonna put the bright blue. I don't want as much of the bright blue, so I don't have to, and I'm not mixing anything with it other than our resin when we get to that point. And my surf blue. Okay, so now I have these 3 colors that I'm going to be using. So I want to take the resin. I'm going to try and scoop off. You probably can't tell the bubbles in there, but it's got some bubbles. But we're going to see if we can scoop off as many bubbles off of the top as possible. Okay, and I hope that we have this up far enough. Now I'm going to add my resin to each one of these colors. Resin is, you know, once it's combined together, it's thick and it's sticky. So definitely wear protective gloves and protect your surfaces of whatever you're crafting on. Okay, now that I've added those, I do want to take each one, blend it really well. Okay. I'm going to start with my sand down on this area. This is a 10 by 10 canvas. I'm going to start with my sand down here. Now, instead of like we've done before and let this just run all together, what we're going to do is I'm going to brush it. I'm going to brush it over with, I'm just using a little sponge brush. And it's okay, I like the, you know, use these textures. You know, sand is not completely smooth. So does it, you know, it's not gonna matter that you've got a little texturing going on here. And we have a little foreign object in there, but that's okay, we get it out. Still a foreign object. Not sure if I let something fall in there or it's just a little clump of paint that didn't mix well, but that's okay. We can definitely get those out. Go up here. I'm not sure yet where I want to put the bright blue, but we know we want this. So I'm gonna start up here with this color, my surf blue. And it's okay that we're overlapping a little bit there. I want it all covered. you're really just gonna brush until, you know, it takes an effect you like. We're not doing anything that takes a, you know, put a certain brush stroke here or certain brush stroke there. This is you brush until you get the look and effect that pleases you, that works best for you. I'm gonna add a little more. Just keep brushing it. I use a lot of paint with this. You don't really have to with resin because the paint tints the resin, and then the resin itself is what you're going to be spreading. But I wanted to make sure that that I had enough to cover everything on here. I still have, you know, as you can see, still have a little bit there, so dip my brush in here. See if we can just kind of cover over those little uncovered little white spots there. Now I'm thinking about the blue. Where should we put blue, or should we put blue? Let's go ahead. I really like the way this looks without the blue, but since I mixed it, I sure hate to not use it. You know what? Let's try just a little bit. If we don't like it, we'll do something else. Oh, brush right in front of me. Now, if you can tell, see, it's making up clumping, you know, making some little clumpy, but as I told you, that resin is thick, but it's also self-leveling. So what's gonna happen is it will come back in and fill those things. Now, I'm not crazy about the light blue, I mean, the bright blue in there. I'm just gonna add a little bit more here, and maybe it'll leave just enough to give it a little bit of a contrasting character there. And now I'm just kind of dabbing this a little bit. And it's already starting to really thicken up, as you can see. But you've got the combination of the paint and the resin. I did not prime this this canvas. You could certainly prime it before if you wanted to. If you're going to be using a bigger one, and you know it's going to take you longer to cover it, I think of definitely prime it, because that gives your paint and resin a little bit of something to stick to a little better. You see, when I'm dabbing, that's coming right off, and we don't want that. So let's see. With the resin in it, it's not going to brush on just like it would if it were just paint. need to try to get this elevated up off of my parchment paper. It would have been better to have gone on and done this with already elevated, but these cups wouldn't give it a lot of security to brush back and forth, so we're gonna do it this way. Now we'll have to let this cure overnight, and then we'll come back with our next video and add embellishments for our mixed media project, and then our final coat of resin. So y'all, that's step one of this resin and paint mixed media project. We'll let this cure, the resin and paint, the paint dry, the resin cure, we'll let that cure overnight for 12 to 24 hours, and then we'll pick out our embellishments and come back and finish creating our mixed media project. Thanks for watching. I hope that you'll like, share, and even subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hope you'll do these projects just to have fun, and everybody would like to be an artist, and everybody thinks they don't have it in them. Everybody's got something in them, so give it a try. I want you to know if I can do this, you can do this, and whatever you do, make it yours, make it personal, and you can do it. Thank you.